Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Alvita Nuliani, and this video is for syntax project-based learning for final exam. And this is part one of deep and surface structure. So the term of deep structure and surface structure were introduced by an American linguist named Noam Chomsky. He developed these ideas as part of his work on transformational grammar. Basically, Chomsky wanted to explain how people understand meaning in language even when sentences are formed in different ways. This slide shows the definition of deep and surface structure by Rifat in 2023. So deep structure refers to the underlying meaning of a sentence. It exists in our brains, not in words, and it shows the core relationships between words, like who does the action and who is receiving it. And the deep structure function is to represent the meaning in a sentence clearly. On the other hand, surface structure is the actual written or spoken form of the sentence, and it refers to the words we use to represent the deep structure through transformations like active sentences into the passive ones, or changing the statement into questions. And the surface structure function is to show how a sentence appears in real life communication. Then, using the idea of deep structure and surface structure by Smith in 2020. From the speaker side, when you speak, you don't express every detail of what you are thinking of, and your unconscious mind helps you turn your deep structure or your thoughts or ideas or your feelings into surface structure or spoken sentences by using three processes of translation. First is deletion, where you leave out information because saying everything will be too long or unnecessary. For example, saying I'm tired instead of explaining why or since when you feel that. And then the second is generalization. You speak in general terms instead of giving specific details. For example, I always mess things up instead of describing one specific mistake that you have made. And the third is distortion. You use words that may not fully represent of what you mean. For example, saying that he ignored me when he may simply have been busy. So your unconscious mind do this all the time, and it happens automatically. If you try to consciously choose every word, um, your speech will sound unnatural or stiff. Next is from the listener side. So the listener doesn't receive the meaning directly either. What they actually hear is the surface structure or the words you say. And then unconsciously they translate those words back into what they believe, which is the deep structure. So the listener also uses deletion, generalization, and distortion. So they may ignore some parts of what you say and connect your words into their own experiences, because each listener has different experiences, their beliefs, and also assumptions. So the meaning they understand can be very different individually from what the speaker actually intended. For example, first we have one meaning but two different sentence forms. Number A, Charlie broke the window. The sentence is in the active voice and it clearly shows who did the action. And the sentence reflects the deep structure. And then for B, the window was broken by Charlie. The sentence is in the passive form or the passive voice. Even though the sentence or the form is different, the meaning is still the same. And this is the example of surface structure. For example, two, there are two deep structure or meaning and one surface structure. And this shows the ambiguity. For the example, in surface structure, visiting relatives can be boring. And this has two meaning, which is number A, to go and visit your relatives is a boring activity. And this is you as the doer. And in B, relatives who come to visit you are boring people. And the doer is the relatives. And then for example 3 is the imperative, which is the missing you. When we say close the window, the subject you is not spoken, but it still exists in the deep structure. So the deep structure is the idea that you are being asked to close the window, even though the word you is deleted in the surface structure. For conclusion, the deep structure focuses on meaning, while surface structure focuses on form. And deep structure explains how humans understand meaning even when the sentences look different in different form or different sentences. And surface structure explains how that meaning is expressed through grammar. And this concept shows that language is not just about words on the surface, but also about hidden structures in the mind that shape how we communicate in real life communication. And this slide shows the references. Next is part 2 of case study. For number 1, the sentence of the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So we know that the sentence consists of noun phrase and verb phrase. In the sentence, the noun phrase is the quick brown fox. The as the determiner and quick brown both are adjectives to modify the noun fox. And for the verb phrase, there is the verb jumps with the prepositional phrase over the lazy dog. And the deep structure shows a fox performs the action of jumping over a dog. And the surface structure, which is the sentence of the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, is very close to the deep structure because the sentence is simple and active. Next, the girl who is wearing a red dress is dancing. For the noun phrase is consists of the noun phrase the girl and also the complementizer phrase with the relative pronoun who, and the verb phrase is wearing a dress. And for the main verb phrase is dancing. And the deep structure shows us that the girl is dancing and also the girl is wearing a red dress. And number 3, Stefano saw Yehezkiela with the telescope. For the noun phrase is only Stefano, and the verb phrase is saw Yehezkiela with the telescope. So the sentence is actually an ambiguity because we find two meaning in this one surface structure. First meaning, Stefano used a telescope to see Yehezkiela, and the second meaning, Yehezkiela was the one who had the telescope. And number 4, she believes that the earth is round. So The noun phrase is she, and the verb phrase consists of the verb believes and also complementizer phrase that the earth is round. So in the deep structure, we find that I find that the earth I find that the meaning of the surface structure, first the earth is round, and then she believes to this proportion where the earth is round. And last, the house where I grew up has been demolished. For the noun phrase, for the noun phrase shows noun phrase and complementizer phrase. The noun phrase is the house, and complementizer phrase consists of relative pronoun where and the verb phrase of I grew up. And the main verb phrase is has been as the auxiliary and demolished as the verb. And this surface structure shows the deep structure. I grew up in the house and the house has been demolished. And that is all. The end of this video. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.